2010 or 2010, however you want to call it, The Year We Make Contact is the sequel to the highly revered, critically acclaimed 2001 A Space Odyssey. I saw the original film at least 3 times, probably more like 4, and each time that I saw it, my experience with it got better and better and better until the very last time that I saw it on this channel where I called it a masterpiece, but I have never once seen the sequel, 2010. I guess there is a reason behind that, given the fact that it's not directed by Stanley Kubrick and it's not critically acclaimed like the original. It's often regarded as a good movie, but standing incredibly deep in the shadow of the predecessor. So while I said the first movie is a masterpiece, I don't think I'll ever be saying that about this movie. Is it good? It is. Ultimately, it is about an American scientist and a couple people from America as well joining the Russians in an attempt to find out essentially what happened in that first movie. What happened to the ship? What happened to David Bowman? What happened to HAL 9000? What the heck happened, right? So with the smarts of the Americans and the technology from the Russians, they join forces to do this mission. And obviously what they find there is not what they expected. There are so many things that make that first film as iconic and as memorable as it is today. A part of that had to do with the narrative structure of the film, you know, how it was basically split into 4 different segments, each one different but kind of the same at the same time, all revolving around a monolith. It was not structurally put together like a normal film. Another aspect of 2001 was the fact that many people say that Kubrick was wise beyond his years and he predicted a few things in the future to come. Not only was that movie made in 1968, the year before we actually landed on the moon, but he also predicted video calls in 2001, which was just when it was getting popular with Skype. And obviously, I mean, AI, that's the big thing right now, right? Plus it has that really, really trippy, colorful, wild ending that kind of takes a second to fully embrace and understand. And 2010 doesn't really have any of this. There are no predicting the future. This is supposed to be taking place in 2010, obviously. It was filmed in the mid-80s. So I know I'm not particularly supposed to judge it as if it were a film that came out in 2010. I can't help but laugh a little bit by seeing these characters as if they just got out of watching Iron Man 2. Nope. That being said, I feel like the only thing that they tried to predict of the future was that some people have pet dolphins. Nope, not last time I checked. But I get it. The way that the future is presented in certain films way back when is usually really, really obscure and ridiculous. But at least I can say that there are no flying cars or people in tinfoil suits. The story of the film isn't bad at all, but it is structured exactly like a normal movie, with a beginning, middle, and end with the same people throughout. The performances are not bad at all. I was actually surprised to see a couple of faces in there, but I feel like a big goal that the film had for itself was to try to explain some of the moments that happened in the first film. They tried to explain, what the monolith is, what is it trying to do, as well as maybe, what happened to David Bowman. The last time we saw him, he was going through a lot of crap. He was aging exponentially, and then suddenly he was like a baby floating in outer space. Like, what the crap happened? This film does strive a little bit to answer those questions, though it does remain a little bit elusive at the end of the day, so that you can still enjoy further viewings. If this film came out today, you would say that the visuals sucked. There are some green screen issues, there are some black level issues, but in 1984, it's not bad at all. One of the main negatives that I have for this film is this side story that's going on down on Earth. It's something political, they're on the brink of war, and somehow that corresponds to what's happening on this spaceship. It's sort of like a Cold War film, like it wanted to be relevant for the time that it came out to a degree, where America and Russia were at odds with each other. So in this film, you have America working with the Russians to show we can work it out, But at the same time, they're saying this is what's going on in 2010. So I don't know, anytime that they referenced this ongoing struggle in the world down below, I just didn't care. It's not why I was watching the film, and it really changed nothing about what was going on in space. In fact, if anything at all, it just distracts. It's not the biggest distraction in the world, given the fact that it doesn't have a lot of screen time, but any of the screen time that it gives at all is a little bit of a Anyways, the film is good. It's decent. I would say it's nowhere near as good as the original film, but I would say that it definitely garners at least a one-time watch. You don't have to go out there and buy the thing or own the thing and rewatch it a million different times. But I think, if you're a fan of the first film, go ahead and watch this one because, I think that it's a good companion piece to that movie, but on its own, it's just, it's okay, it's decent. I will be giving this a B- letter grade. But what about you guys though? Have you seen 2010, the year we made contact? And if so, what'd you think about it? You probably prefer the first one over this. I mean, that's kind of obvious. If you do actually prefer it though, let me know in the comments section down below why. But overall, what'd you think of this film? And as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out.